Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the tall, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answer the call. And we say, be tight, be tight, be tight. The Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. The Officer Tatum Show.
Gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. I know I say my intro different almost every single time, but hey, I'm human, all right? Let's talk about the Delta Airlines flight. As we have seen on the news, the mainstream media, who is probably the most disingenuous group of production individuals that I've ever seen in my life, are all trying to blame Donald Trump for this. Why, like, can y'all let off the gas for 30 minutes? What does Donald Trump have to do with a plane making an approach in inclement weather, and it looks like the approach was a little too aggressive, and so they hit the ground like this instead of coasting through? And it probably all had everything to do with weather. That has nothing to do with aviation, or at least as far as the aviation employees for the federal government. They have nothing to do with the flight attendants. It has nothing to do with nobody. It's literally inclement weather and a pilot trying to navigate the inclement weather and slamming into the runway, causing the plane to go up in flames. So if you don't know, nobody died. Thank God. There was a few injuries. I think about 18 people were injured. Everybody's expected to make a full recovery. But if you haven't seen this video that was just released, I'm going to show it to you. This is the actual footage of the plane making its approach into landing. The landing seemed to be a little too aggressive, destroyed the landing gear, hit the jet engine on the runway, caused a flame, it flipped over, and everybody lived. That's a blessing. The Lord was on their side. Roll the clip.
Oh! Oh! Oh, no, 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 no. Tower, you're seeing this airplane just crash into you. Oh my God.
So run it back.
Oh my God. Well, hold here. Come on.
I want y'all to see the approach. It hit the ground fast. Boom! The plane not supposed to do that.
Oh! Oh, no, 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 no.
All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. Now, the plane is not supposed to do that. They have nothing to do with Donald Trump's cuts to FAA employees. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Let me give you a stat, and then I'm going to play the news so you can hear how ridiculous they are. But out of the 40+ thousand people that are employed in the government, let me get the numbers here. Fewer than 400 workers were dismissed from the FAA 45,000 workforce. So fewer than 400 workers were eliminated from their 45,000 person workforce. That's less than 1% of the workers at the FAA were let go. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy claimed that only probationary staff hired within the past year were affected. That means senior staff. That means people who were trained, people with experience, people who have done the job. They were not subject to being fired. So with that in context, less than 1% of employees, all of them were probationary. Why, oh why, is the news media having a cow? Well, let's pull up MSDNC and let's see what MSDNC have to say about it. Roll it.
On the conversation you were just having, though,
Maybe
in
it's
terms
ABC.
of the recent string of aviation incidents, Tom, this is going to yet again raise the concern about FAA staffing, air traffic control staffing. Now, this is a Canadian air traffic control tower, and this is under Canadian authority once it crosses the border. And yet, as you know, there has been this talk about maybe staff cuts at the FAA as a part of President Trump's effort to trim down the federal workforce. And yet, as you also know, the FAA has been complaining for years that they are understaffed in critical job positions, especially air traffic control. I was having a conversation with somebody today about whether air traffic control in America is being affected by the staff cuts. So far, not to their knowledge, and yet other positions related to maintaining critical equipment appear to have been cut. So this is going to feed into all of these recent incidents, and the safety of the total air traffic system is going to be very much a part of the conversation as we go forward, at least on this side of the country, of the border, I should say.
This has nothing to do with air traffic control, I would argue. Unless people want to say that they told the plane or advised the plane to land in inclement weather and the plane should have never done so. The captain understands what situation he or she is in. The captain can see that they're descending too fast, and the captain can do a go around. They say this landing is not going right. Descending a little too fast for the altitude or whatever, or the speed that we're traveling. We're coming in too hot. Normally, the tower will tell them, look, you got to decrease your speed. You're coming in too fast. All these other things. However, the captain can see. They know they're flying the plane. They can see the instruments. They can see how far they're going down. That plane was going straight down. It went boom. It didn't coast in. It went straight down. That has nothing to do with air traffic control, especially not in America. If you listen to what he said, this is in Canadian airspace. So now the Canadian air traffic control is responsible. A Canadian airport, Canadian air traffic control. And they blaming Trump. When one of the most catastrophic accidents happened with the staff before Trump even got in. He made cuts after the military plane in the American airline regional jet crashed. He made cuts after that. Well, so what's y'all excuse? This was in Canada. Let's play the Ver, because we know the Ver always got something to say. Roll it.
There's all kinds of stuff going on. So let's start with the string of mass firings by Elon Musk's Doge, has sparked a lot of chaos, confusion, and fear because Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is defending the firing of 400 FAA workers. But former Secretary Pete Buttigieg slammed the firings of employees who control communications, radio, computer systems, all given all the confusion. So is this really the time to be laying off folks? And who is exactly getting laid off?
Well, they're seeming to be laying off probationary workers. When you work for the Department of Justice or work for the government, sometimes you have a 2-year probationary period. Sometimes you have a 1-year or 3-year. So these are people that are in their probationary periods and they're not protected yet. And so they're just kind of getting rid of them willy-nilly. The other thing that they're doing is the union spokesperson said that the people that have been affected are maintenance mechanics, aeronautical information specialists, environmental protection specialists, aviation safety assistants, and management and program assistants. And I just want to call back to what Pete Buttigieg tweeted. He said, we put safety first, drove down close calls, grew traffic control, and had 0 commercial airline crash fatalities out of millions of flights on our.
Time out. You lying. I want to call you the F word. I want to call you the F word that rhyme with jagged, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it today. Not today. I'm a Christian. I'm not going to do it today. But you a sorry son of a gun for saying this. We had no plane crash under our watch. With the people that y'all hired, there was one of the most catastrophic plane crashes that just happened. That's under your watch. That Trump been in office for a week or two. Your people. Your management of FAA, Your management. That's when it happened. Trump comes in and makes cuts, and in the Canadian airspace run by Canadian FAA or whatever you want to call it. It wouldn't be FAA, I don't think, but Canadian air traffic control at a Canadian airport, and you have the nerve to try to bring up a crash that wasn't even on American soil, had nothing to do with American people, except for the pilot potentially. You want to blame that on Trump. It's crazy to me how disingenuous these people are. You notice that she said, we got the stats right here. This ain't hard to find. We got the stats right here. Fewer than 400 workers, they have 45,000 people on staff. Why did she mention 400 but didn't mention 45,000 people that work for FAA? That's less than 1% of the people working in that particular, I want to say organization, but that particular branch of the federal government. Less than 1%. You got to be completely stupid to think that somehow Trump and Doge is getting rid of people that maintain the planes and all that. Like, you're stupid. They just said probationary people. Anybody with a ball of common sense knows that when you're on probation, because you haven't proven yourself yet to be worthy of hiring full time and being protected. So you only been on for, our probation was 18 months. You only been on for a year and a half. You maybe on for 2 years. You ain't got no experience. So how are you that much of an intricate part of FAA with 45,000 people and it's only 400? And it's probably one person that's in maintenance. And they probably got another 5,000 people in that same industry. It just makes me so mad. They probably got 5,000 employees in each of the areas that they're claiming that they fire people in. They got 5,000. And they probably fired like 5 people from each one. Maybe 10. Just say 20 people from each one. With 5,000 other people capable with experience. And they trying to sell you a lie. Is that the end of that clip? Keep rolling it. Keep rolling it.
Watch. President Trump now oversees the military and the FAA. One of his first acts was to fire and suspend some of the key personnel who helped keep our skies safe.
So I do think it's a valid point, but I want to be very clear. There is no evidence that the D.C. tragic plane crash had anything to do with these firings. And then this most recent one in Toronto, it was because of landing on a Canadian airway, and it was related to the landing. It was not, there is yet at this time no evidence it's related to the layoffs. That said, it's a perfectly valid point to say that you need to know who you're getting rid of in government.
Hopefully there'll be an investigation.
And there is by the NTSB right now, I strongly believe in streamlining government. I think most people think it doesn't necessarily work, it isn't as responsive to people as it should be. But my criticism remains, tell us why you're cutting it. Tell us. And Sarah's highlighted this.
Isn't it money?
Finally, the Doge website does have some information about what they have cut. They've said they've saved $50 billion. But tell us why we don't need that program, how it's not going to impact our goods and services, and we don't have that.
They already told you, hold on, shut these women up. They already told you, dummy, it's for government efficiency. They're getting rid of wasteful spending. They don't need to tell you every single person that the overarching reason for layoffs is government waste. Clearly, if they laying people off, these are individuals who are bloating government spending for no reason. You can't sit up here and say they need to tell us why. They told you why when they started Doge. We are coming in and making sure the government is efficient. We're getting rid of wasteful spending. So if you lose your JOB, that's because your JOB isn't necessary and is bloating government spending. That means that the FAA can function with 99% of its staff still intact and leaving out 1%, less than 1%. It's common sense, but y'all want to make it more than what it is. It is very clear. It's government cuts on expenses that are unnecessary. Where are these women getting their brain cells from? Roll the clip.
employees at the FAA. Okay, sounds like a big number. With no context, who are these people? And how, what are their jobs?
Some of them are
400 people.
aviation safety
Wait one
people.
second. 400 people were laid off, and you're like, okay, 400. But what were their jobs? They're saying they're in these temporary status jobs, but it doesn't say whether who they were replacing or why they started wasn't critical. Yeah. My biggest problem is the transportation and the not transportation, the transparency and the methodology in this, because right now we all wanted the fat cut. Great, everyone's on board with that. Not in 2 weeks, because when you're going to cut the fat in an organization, you go in, you learn everything, and then you see where the inadequacies are. And that's the issue. Probationary status.
I feel like we're living in some kind of chaos right now. I mean, they also fired, how many of them? 300 employees who are guarding the nuclear arsenal. That was a mistake. And then they tried to hire them back, and they still haven't gotten 25 people back yet.
Because they can't find them because they don't have their emails
Because
anymore.
there's incompetence and chaos going on, and we should not put up with it.
Well,
and by the way, egg prices are supposed to come down, not airplanes.
Well, let me say someplace that could really use a lot of cutting. Elon has very many, what do you call it?
Government contracts?
Yeah. I think, because I don't remember, maybe y'all heard it, but I don't remember looking for an armored car. And I don't remember.
I can't do it no more. I think this is it. I can't handle these women. They so stupid. It's crazy to me. I just wish people can get sued for being stupid. They getting on here still acting like this aviation accident, which nobody died in, had anything to do with Trump. Literally controlled by air traffic control in Canada in a Canadian airport. Like, how much more? We had nothing to do with that. We have no communication with the flight that's in Canadian airspace. Their air traffic control took over that space. Their airport is unsafe to land in. Whoever communicated that and didn't display that, or the pilot made a mistake, that has nothing to do with the FAA or Donald Trump. But they still pushing it. They should be ashamed of themselves. I hope that one day they meet their maker or their father, who's the devil. I hope they meet him one day and they have a conversation about it. Anyway, let's move on to the next subject. And this is one that bothered me the whole weekend. I ain't gonna even lie. Ashley St. Clair. Woo, my wife don't want me to say nothing crazy because my wife and her at some point had messaged back and forth when she had her first kid, because we had our baby around the time she had her baby out of wedlock. Our kid was not out of wedlock. And I'm not judging nobody for doing that. I just want to make it very clear. My wife and her are not the same. Now, I'll say this. If you don't know who the girl Ashley St. Clair is, I'm just going to tell you what I know of her. I think that if you look up her history, you'll see that she worked in different areas. I know her to be an influencer, a social media influencer. I don't know if we got a picture of Ashley St. Clair up here, do we? No, we do not. All right, maybe through the thing it'll play. She'll probably pop up here somewhere. Ashley St. Clair was a social media influencer, conservative, I thought, right? That's what my perception was of her. Of course, she's just like some of these other social media conservatives who flaunt their sexuality and looks over content, in my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm not saying they're all like that, but I think a lot of them are like that. They are no different than people on the other side. They just flaunt sexuality and they get famous and they say they have nothingness in many of the things that they post and say. Ashley St. Clair, in my personal opinion, was quasi one of those people from what I knew. I didn't know her personally. That's what I saw. That's my judgment of what I saw. And then she had a baby out of wedlock, which was insane, because she's supposed to be a conservative in the movement. All of a sudden, she's pregnant by somebody that ain't even in the movement, that nobody even know who he is. No real technical judgment, because people do make mistakes. So that is what it is. But she just came back and looked like she wanted to make her way into wherever she can get into to get where she wanted to go. And she had a baby with Elon Musk. Now, the silliest woman on planet Earth has to be Ashley St. Clair. You have a baby out of wedlock once. You sleep with a man for money and fame and status, because you know y'all wasn't in love. You can't fall in love over DMs. And let me be honest. Elon Musk ain't a looker. He ain't really swaggy either. He a good man, but I don't say a good man. I don't know Elon like that. He's smart, but he awkward. And ain't no dime trying to roll up on Elon Musk. I'm just being honest. I can only be honest with y'all. So you know, if you sleeping with the man, more than likely, going against your Christian values, your conservative values, it's because he rich. Matter of fact, he the richest man in the world. So you throw all your values in the trash. You bump and grind and pump and sweat with the guy. Let him do his due. You know you ain't wearing a helmet to the football game. You just going there with no helmet and letting them just do his thing. If y'all grown people know what I'm talking about. You just slip on a banana peel and have a baby with Elon Musk. Somebody didn't care. And somebody didn't Joe Biden Afghanistan, if you know what I'm saying. And you have a baby with the guy. How can you fumble the bag this bad? Put the thing on the screen. How do you fumble the bag this bad? You already know you sleeping with the man because he's rich, and he may have agreed that he wanted to have a baby with you like he probably did all these other women. And you got to be the crazy one. You got to be the one that come out in front of the world and say, I want to keep this private while showing the world you got a baby with him. And you want to keep it so private that you do a sit-down interview about you having a baby with Elon Musk. What is happening here? And I know this is not a prevalent story. I know this is not the biggest story on the map. But I will say that it's an embarrassing story for the conservative movement, not conservatives, because most of us ain't silly, but for the movement. I'm going to get to the content in a minute. But I thought that Elon was busy saving America, not busy trying to lay up. And I thought a woman like Ashley St. Clair, being a single mother already, wouldn't be spending her time, effort, and energy laying up with a man that ain't her husband. But no, we were wrong. And this is where I tell you guys all the time, this is not unique. He a billionaire and she wants some clout and fame, so she gonna put it out there for everybody to know. That's all this is. But your favorite conservative people are doing this all the time. They get on social media, they say they Christians, they say they conservatives, and at these events, they having orgies and doing all kind of stuff. This person sleep with this person, sleep with this person. They begging for money for you. They spending that money on their stuff. They ain't done nothing they asked you to do. People pleading guilty for stealing your money on the border wall. And you know who I'm talking about. Stealing your money. I know I'm going off, but it's making me mad. Like, can people be genuine for 30 seconds? Oh, we want to do, build the wall. Y'all give millions of dollars and one person just pled guilty. The other one, this fool, used the money and his wife doing OnlyFans. She doing OnlyFans. Me and Nick looked it up. We were on the radio. Somebody was talking about, I say, she can't be doing this. She got an OnlyFans account where she's showing her nookie and everything on OnlyFans. Now, we couldn't see because we don't have a subscription. But that's what she's doing. She's not doing conservative content on OnlyFans. They supposed to be conservatives. Build the wall. They taking your money and doing whorish things with it. Give me back to the clip. And this Ashley St. Clair thing is the same thing. Can you keep your weenie in your pants and can you keep your legs closed? I like Elon, man, but god dang, bro. You just sowing seeds everywhere. It's impossible to be a good quality father. Money cannot replace the presence of a father. Nannies, money, high rises, $1 million. My daddy's this guy that I don't even talk to. It's cool. Your daddy's the richest man in the world, but you don't talk. He don't love you. You don't feel like he love you. He got 40 other kids. He can't love all of y'all the same. Maybe in his heart, but his actions ain't there. If I had to tell Elon anything, Elon, Somebody help you find Jesus, because what you're doing is crazy. You cannot adequately love these kids and be there for them. Ashley Sinclair and other women who want to be like her, stop. You got more dignity than that, because you're going to live a miserable life as the side chick, the side piece. All right, let's play this clip real quick. I want to play, and this clip right here is the only response. Elon haven't responded to the fact that she made a proclamation. Go back to the thing where she put her, go back to the thing where she made her statement. It's the statement. I want y'all to see the statement she made. And you tell me this ain't a woman looking for clout and fame. But girl, you could probably, since you already laying up like a $2 whoa, since you're laying up, why don't you just play it cool? You probably can have all the money you want from Elon Musk. You play it cool, but you can't be cool. You got to be silly. On Valentine's Day, I say she was mad because Elon Musk had another chick at the White House with his other kid for Valentine's Day, and she wasn't her. So what did she say? 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety. Ma'am, who really knew you had a baby with Elon Musk? He ain't on the birth certificate, just so y'all know. He ain't on the birth certificate. So who really knew? Your baby come out and it look like Elon Musk. And they go, ah! That's Elon baby right there. The one that went, ah! They don't know that's Elon baby. But you silly. So this is what you do. But in recent days, it has become clear that tabloid media intend to do so regardless of the harm it will cause. So tabloid media somehow was in the bedroom with you and Elon watching it go down. They don't know you got a baby with him. You could just not say nothing. Elon clearly ain't claimed you yet. So he ain't said nothing. You didn't have to say nothing. They don't know what's happening. But you can't play the side chick role right. Then she go, I intend to allow our child to grow up in a normal and safe environment. For that reason, I ask that the media honor our child's privacy and refrain from invasive reporting. Then she goes on to do a sit-down interview with a tabloid. Sit-down interview. In the top of the interview, I wish we had the picture, but we didn't have the pictures. She in her apartment that costs about $40,000 a month, posing for this exclusive interview about her deals with Elon Musk and the baby. But she want to keep it private, and she don't want the kid to grow up in the tabloids. Boy, I tell you what, men, this is why I'm telling y'all, men, keep your weenie in your pants, man. Women are will ruin your life. That's why I do not believe, and she's not gonna ruin his life because he's the richest man in the world. He's just gonna not act like it's not his kid, settle out of court. She's gonna get paid $100 million and be set for life and be laying up on some other man. But young men, if you're a successful entrepreneur, keep your stuff in your pants, man. These women crazy. Elon Musk can't even get this woman to act like she got some sense. She all putting him out on blast on Valentine's Day because she hurt. Because the agreement didn't go like she wanted to. I know this wasn't love. He got 13 other kids that we know of. Elon probably got 40 kids. He a Rolling Stone. But he got enough money so he can help the women be single moms, I guess. But here's the thing. Let's play a couple responses from conservatives. And this is shout out to Mark Dice because we got some of this from Mark Dice's clip. He did a really good job. Y'all should go watch his full episode. Let me just say this. Roll it. We got a couple responses from people. Let me just make this a statement. Is it playing or is it paused? Can you just play it straight through? I just want to say this real quick. Is it playing? Okay. I'm trying to show everybody's content and clips and people that liked it. I'm just going to give my opinion. I don't know why anybody would be celebrating this woman having a baby out of wedlock. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then there's people that obviously dissented and said this is crazy. What are conservatives thinking about? Bryson Gray was one of the ones that dissented. I don't understand why people think this makes sense. She's not an example of a good woman or a conservative woman. No way. Because no amount of money a man can give you will make you lay up with him for a baby. You're prostituting your body to a man for money. That's not conservative. That's not okay. That shouldn't be celebrated. She will not get a congratulation. She don't need one from me, but she would not get a congratulation from me. I don't care if she's my friend. Now, I'm not going to beat you up and throw you away, but I'm not finna publicly celebrate what you're doing. Pause it. I'm not going to publicly celebrate what you're doing because this is the wrong message. But unfortunately, this is the message that a lot of women believe in, and they just ain't got the opportunity like she did. Even conservative women that claim they're Christian and claim they're conservatives. They mess with a man with enough money, all their morals go out of the window. Look at how she used to talk. Look how she used to talk. It says, there is no sin as cruel as alienating a child from a parent. Seeing so much of this everywhere. Do you not think that what you're doing and you and Elon Musk in a situation is parental alienation? You publicly are calling him out. You are publicly creating a rift between you and this man that it appears that you're going to get money without a daddy because he ain't even claimed you yet. Push play. There was another message she posted that's completely ironic. Let's see. It'll pop up in a minute. It's slow. I don't know if we thought this through that good. There you go. Here's another one she said. Pause it. I don't know when it's going to switch. This is another one she said. Y'all can't make this up. You can't see it. It says, Kamala can't help herself from bending over for a man to get ahead. They believe this stuff until they have an opportunity to bend it over for a man to get ahead. She believed this, maybe. Or this is just sound good on a tweet. It sound good. It's cute. But do she really think Kamala Harris didn't even do this? Roll the clip. It's one more she did that was crazy. Here you go. Vivek just called out the system for financially incentivizing single motherhood. You can't make this up. Financially incentivizing single motherhood. Ma'am, you are a single mother of 2 kids. And you mess with a man because he was a billionaire because you finna make a come up. That's all that was. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but I hope that conservatives and Christian women, men aren't perfect. They ain't no good either. There's some no good men out there. But this is why a lot of young men hesitate and have issues with young women, because given the opportunity to F a millionaire, these women that claim they got morals, they will F a millionaire. They'll put God aside. They'll put their family aside. They'll put their reputation aside. They'll put all that aside so they can have access to status and money. This girl is a perfect example. Elon Musk is one of the most awkward dudes you ever gonna see. I never met him in person, but when I watch him on video, I'm like, he cringy. But he really smart. So he on the spectrum, so he a little awkward, right? When he doing this, he awkward, all right? We get it, bro. And so women ain't sleeping with him unless he got money. Perfect example. And I know the women that are watching this, y'all are perfect. Y'all never do something like this. But this is where, men, they got their problems too. It ain't all women. I would argue that men are probably worse than women on average. But this is what young men this is what the red pill movement be talking about. A woman will virtue signal and say all of these things until she have an opportunity to F a billionaire. And they'll sleep with that man. And I told my wife this, and she disagreed with me. We'll talk about it in our show. I think 60% of women who are married would consider leaving their husband for a man with more money. And the more money they make, that's the higher the consideration. I think 40% of married women will F a man with money while they're married. Elon Musk coming to house, I think 40% of married women will make a compromise. If they saw, what is his name, Chris Brown, if they had one night with Drake, if they were in a hotel room with Kendrick Lamar, if they had, I don't know, the lead singer of Coldplay, I don't know this. I'm trying to mix up the genres. If they can get Michael Jackson, well, Michael Jackson was kind of weird. I don't know, I don't think he was into women. Maybe Prince. Some of y'all old school know Prince. If they were in a hotel room and they saw a superstar, a celebrity, they saw an NFL player sitting at the table, I think 60% of married women will entertain him. 40% will go home and have sex with that guy that night. I can almost put my life on it. And that's a shame. Now, men's statistics are worse than that. I'm just showing y'all women right now. I think men would be worse than that, boy. Every man, except me. If Rihanna was at a hotel room, every man, except for Brandon Tatum, and your husband that's watching this, would probably make a mistake. Men are worse. So just for the women out there that felt like I was attacking y'all, I'm saying men are even worse, okay? It don't even have to be Rihanna. You get a man drunk enough, he'll mess his whole family up at a bar. So now the women are happy with me. Okay, I want to go to the clip of Kevin O'Leary because I thought he had a pretty interesting take on this clip that we have him and Scott Jennings about Doge. And I know Doge is a perpetuation and a continuation of verbiage that we're talking about, but I think that it's prevalent. It's necessary. We're going to keep talking about this, and we need to combat the lies because they're out here saying that planes are crashing because Doge is firing people, and they're not giving the full context in reality, not even the iota of it. Roll the clip.
Isn't there already a shortage at the FAA? Why do this now, especially considering what's happened in the States, and now, of course, you have this other incident and a few others?
Yeah, well, this one happened in Canada, but
yes.
I can only tell you what the Secretary of Transportation says. There are 45,000 employees at the FAA. We're talking about fewer than 400 people, and he says 0 air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel were let go. So if that's true, I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I do like the idea of keeping the people who are in the direct chain of command of safety and the air traffic control system and so on and so forth. But I have a hard time believing that there is a single government agency that doesn't have a bloat of administrative personnel that we could probably do without. And I think that's why a lot of voters are happy that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are finally going through the federal government and trying to take out some of this bureaucracy that we probably just don't need. So I'm reading to you what Sean Duffy says. He's the Secretary of the Transportation. Yeah. I have no reason to doubt his numbers.
Karen, when you hear this, I mean, look, Americans are concerned about bloat in the federal government. They have been for a very long time. What do you make of how it's been meted out?
So the concern that and I think a lot of Americans have, we can all agree there's bloat. We can all agree that we need to deal with that. At the same time, what we're seeing is speed for the sake of creating momentum to create a sense of things are happening. At the same time, look what happened Friday. We had nuclear scientists fired, and then they said, oops, we need those people because they have a technical skill that nobody else has. So the problem that I have with the way they're doing it is, and I went to the Doge website to see if they would say anything about, look, we are conducting this process to make sure we don't harm American safety, their health, or take money out of their wallets. They don't say that. And they don't need to say that. Out the consequences and the impact of some of these things. If you're a doctor for the VA in the Midwest and you're told you're going to be fired or you're waiting for this court to play out, What are you supposed to do with your client the veteran who's got PTSD? Are you trying to find them someone else to go see because you're not sure if you're going to be there in 2 weeks? Or are you assuming you'll be spared because someone will figure out that it's probably not smart to get rid of doctors who are at the VA who may be working on a critical function? So that's the concern. I think this could have been done with a lot more thoughtfulness about how do we protect people's safety. Even if you said, look, we're going to take 2 weeks at each agency and try to do some kind of rubric to make an assessment, not putting it into an AI system, by the way, which is some of what we've read that they've done. And I think what we're going to find is a number of these oops moments that could be dangerous.
Kevin, the optics of this is what you're referring to.
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. The code is cobalt. It's from the 60s. It needs CapEx put into it for the technology to be upgraded to make it safer. Fat like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue I've ever seen, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut, more cutting. Believe me, it's going to work out just great. Everybody should be happy about this.
Even people with the nuclear codes, cut them too?
Cut everything. Because if you don't see what they're doing and they can't show you that they're adding value, you whack.
But it's not clear that they're even asking people to show us what you're doing. Again, this was a story Friday, and literally Elon said, oops, we gotta rehire them because nobody knows how to do what these people know how to do.
Yeah, the nuclear thing. Okay, gets it wrong once in a while. Big deal. So what?
I agree with that.
That's 10% of the time.
It's okay. I actually think it's okay if they run into a stumble here or there because the project is so massive. The need to cut is so massive. The government is so massive. It's inconceivable that you wouldn't make a mistake here or there. But I think that's acceptable if the greater goal is achieved, which is a smaller government, more efficient government, trim the fat.
Even if someone dies, or even if someone, because
Are you alleging that someone has died from this?
We don't know. I'm talking about when the rubber meets the road. I'm talking about, for example, Kansas City, 30,000 government employees might be laid off. It will destroy the economy of Kansas City. That's okay.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm reading what the individuals from Kansas City have been saying, that they're very concerned.
What do you think they're going to say when they're going to get whacked?
Of course they're going to say that. But my point is, do we think that's smart to live in an American city just go under?
How many American cities need a massively oversized federal government to stay afloat? I mean, isn't that says more about the city than the government?
But when did we get to the point where presidents are measuring themselves by how many people they put out of work instead of how many people they get jobs
Not a moment too soon.
Yeah,
this
is crazy. This is
because the government only ever gets
big
bigger,
fat
never
chickens,
smaller.
hopefully they lay some eggs and maybe then we can afford it.
These people are so silly. It's crazy to me. Cutting people, firing people is a part of the game, especially when let me just put it in perspective. When the head coach is hired in football, I don't know how they do in basketball. I'm assuming it's all the same. When a head coach is hired to take over the University of Arizona, he goes through and fires everybody that the old coach had in place, unless there's strategic people that have proven year in and year out that they're irreplaceable. He fires them, bring his own people in. That's what you do. If you acquire a company, you do an evaluation and say, I'm acquiring this company. I want to cut spending by 72%. You're going to acquire the company and fire everybody that is in that realm of 72% or whatever the case may be. And you're going to keep the people that are in there. Then you will reassess after making that evaluation how many people I want to bring back. And the people that I'm bringing back are the people that are my people. Therefore, they're trained, they're in the culture. Everything is the way I want it. That's how you do it. You go into the government. The American people had a mandate to say cut government spending. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at it and say, what are 400 people doing right here? Absolutely nothing. Are they needed? No. Okay, cut these people. They're on probation. Therefore, they're not entitled to any benefits or anything. They're let go. Here's the thing. You can't be afraid to cut people because they're going to be unemployed. Everybody's taking a risk out here. I'm taking a risk. Am I protected by the government? No, if this stuff go under, it's all on me. So you being afraid of losing your job is no different than me losing my job. You may be subject to losing your job at some point. I don't know why they feel like that the government can't cut people's jobs. 30,000 people are going to be, well, too bad. That's too bad. When these companies go under, when companies go belly up, bankrupt, they get acquired, people lose their job. Whole slew. What are y'all saying? When Elon Musk took over X, Twitter, a whole bunch of people lost their, and they still good. The country didn't end. Silicon Valley didn't go out of business. California didn't go more bankrupt than they are. People just lost their job. They get another job. You have a skill, go work somewhere else. All right. I like that clip. That was one of my favorites. Is there more to it? That was it. I like that clip. I think that was a little bit of reality check. I want to play this Tom Hanks thing. I didn't have a chance to respond because I took yesterday off. I took Monday off for a holiday. But I didn't get a chance to respond to this. But I've seen people posting it. I haven't even watched it yet. I want to watch it for the first time with y'all and the people who are like me that didn't see it. I heard it was absolutely ridiculous. The fact that he's wearing a Trump hat and trying to make a skit out of it is just ridiculous to start with. So this is him on a Saturday Night Live skit, 50th anniversary special on February the 16th. Wrote a clip.
How you doing now? Now, I heard a fellow could win some money here, and I know exactly who that is. The church lady.
Yes, that is correct, Doug. Thank you. That is the church lady. $400 for you.
Oh, well, thank you. Hey, now, speaking of church, can I say something? If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No.
Like that. Oh, no. It's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome to Black Jeopardy anytime.
All right. Well, thank you, my brother. Maybe I'll start a show for you to come on, and we'll call it White Jeopardy.
No. We don't need it. Let's slow it down a little bit, Doug. All right. We're going to take a break. When we return to Black Jeopardy, we will see if anyone has watched any of this year's Oscar movies. I doubt it. We'll see you.
Now, y'all can see what he tried to do, right? He tried to impersonate somebody from the South. You know, that's embarrassing because what if somebody impersonated a black person like that and was all ghetto and all this stuff, and that's the typical Kamala Harris voter? I don't think that'd be right either, especially when you're trying to make MAGA supporters out to be racist. I put my life on it. You won't do that with a Jew. Play like a Jew and do stereotypical Jewish stuff. See how far that's gonna last on SNL. Play like a black man. Get somebody up there. Get a bag of chicken. Make the fire alarm. Make the smoke alarm go beep beep. You do that, and you see how many people are gonna get offended. Make fun of gay people, trans. Oh, y'all won't do that, but you'll make fun of white people that are Christians. Okay. I just want to throw that out there. That's what these people do. They can make fun of Christians. They can make fun of conservatives, but they get butt hurt when it's time to make fun of them. All right, we got a little more time left. I want to play the segment about Michael Knowles debating these activists. There's 2 clips here. Michael Knowles is pretty good at this, if you haven't noticed. Michael Knowles is one of those guys. I don't know him personally, but I've smoked cigars with Michael. I've been to Daily Wire with Michael. Michael Knowles seems to be the same or better of a person in person than he is on the camera. He's just like you would expect him to be. The way he talked, the way he acted, his demeanor, his decorum, all is the same. I don't think it changes. I seen him in person, smoke cigars with him. He cool. He one of the cool ones. If I see somebody on the screen that ain't cool, I'm either not gonna say nothing or I'm gonna tell y'all it ain't cool. Just know if I don't say nothing about they probably ain't cool. All right, roll the clip.
Hi.
Hello.
Blossom. She, her, hers powerhouse.
Blossom Powerhouse. Lovely to meet you.
Yes. Go ahead. I want to know your ideology around transgenderism something that doesn't exist. It just sounds more like conservative propaganda. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about what you're trying to communicate.
Okay, I think for all of history everywhere, people have understood the human person to have something to do with his body. So like your body has something to do with who you are. Now there is an alternative view, which is called Gnosticism. It's a view that our bodies don't really have anything to do with who we are, that the body is maybe even evil, and that our true selves have no connection to our bodies. And I see in the transgender ideology a kind of Gnosticism that says that you could look like a man, you could have a man's genetics, you could have a man's genitals, you could have a man's everything, but if you feel on some deep level that you're really a woman, then you are really a woman. And I don't think that's true, and I think that the social effects of that are really bad because it leads to the depriving women of their legitimate rights. In some cases, it leads to rapes, notably in the last few years, and it also leads to women losing their sports competitions and their scholarships, and it's just disordered and false. And it also leads to more people adopting this identity, which leads to very high rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide. So it's bad for everyone, and it's not grounded in reality.
Oh, I don't even think you understand what you say sometimes. I don't think you understand what you say, because when we talk about these rape cases of women in the restroom, they're coming from cis men like you. So let's be very clear.
No,
where it's
that's
coming
not
from.
true. In 2021,
excuse me, do not interrupt a black
I'm
trans woman when she's
I'm just trying to
speaking.
correct you. Well, I would never interrupt a black woman.
No, thank you.
You made
Here's the thing about me as a black trans woman. I am not a threat to cis women, and I think it is harmful that you are going around here spewing that rhetoric, weaponizing this rhetoric against trans people.
Weaponizing facts?
Transgenderism does not exist. We as trans people exist. We are 1% of the population, and there is a lot of power in the trans identity, because you are sitting here spewing something to me that doesn't really
I'm not
exist.
spewing anything. I'm just stating facts plainly.
I have lived experience. You don't, and you never will. But I do have a question.
I have
for
lived
you.
experience.
What if one of your
I'm alive.
What if one of your kids came out as trans? How would you
God
react
forbid.
to that?
I mean, I would obviously love my children, and I would try to do what's best for my children. And the best thing that I could do to be respectful and also to be conducive to their flourishing is to tell them the truth, which is that they're not really girls.
Oh, come on. I can't even imagine your relationship with your children. No shade.
That's great. That's a great relationship.
I just cannot even imagine that. But here's the reality. We exist. Again, people like you do not have the intellectual capacity to hold conversations like this, because in a minute you're going to reduce this down to genitalia, and then we're going to have to shift it somewhere else, because obviously people like you, that's where they go, right?
In a minute, what I'm going to do is correct something you said. When you said that the rapes that have occurred in these bathrooms are cis men.
White cis men, I should say, actually.
That isn't true. Loudoun County, 2021, the big case that actually ended up flipping the state was because there was a boy who wore a skirt, went into the girls' bathroom and raped a girl in a particularly hideous way. And do you know what happened? Hold on, don't cut me off. You said you wouldn't.
A cis boy. It was not a trans woman. All y'all do is go back to cis boys. You're always talking about cis boys. I don't understand the fascination with trans bodies and what's happening in the bathroom. It is mostly happening.
I think you're filibustering because you don't want me to tell you what happened in the bathroom.
Who?
Me. I think you're filibustering
child,
me.
No.
I think that you're distracting from the fact that a boy wearing a skirt in a girl's bathroom raped a girl.
But not a trans woman.
Well, there's no such thing as a trans woman.
Oh, yes, it is. You're looking at one right now.
I'm looking at.
You're looking at me
I'm
right
looking
now.
at
with lived experience.
I'm looking
with
at
lived experience. You are looking at a trans woman who has been transitioning for over 20 years, who has lived experience.
Yes.
You're talking to an activist here.
But your identity is not grounded in reality.
You're talking to somebody that's extreme. Oh, I am reality.
I'm not really talking to anyone because you keep talking over me.
In your head, I'm not, but I am in reality.
Yeah.
I'm here in front of you right now talking to you.
You're confused about your identity.
No, you are confused at the fact that you don't really have any talking points right now, because
then why aren't you letting me speak?
You really don't.
If I have nothing to say, why aren't you letting me speak?
Put me on your show. How about that?
Then it would become your show, I think.
Oh yeah, I should have a show. I should have a show.
In 2018, there were 2 rapes in bathrooms, and one in Wisconsin, one in Georgia.
From men,
also because of the transgender identity.
But say it, cis men.
If you're going to describe a boy who wears a skirt and goes into a girl's bathroom as a cis man, no, I didn't.
No, you are. This is the example that you run to. Past that, you have nothing.
I've just given you 3 examples. I've given you 3 examples in recent years.
You don't. You've been struggling this entire time.
News to me. Have I?
Yeah, you have.
I think the trans lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Bye. Goodbye.
Perhaps I'll see you on my show.
Yes, invite me.
Yeah.
Get my email. Tell your people to get my email address. How about that?
Yeah.
Good job.
He was so embarrassing, man. I feel bad for the trans dude. Because a trans person can't get there and have a reasonable conversation. It always got to be a knockdown, drag out, filibustering, all these things that they do to try to evade from the reality of the truth. And you can see when he starts saying it and starts speaking the truth and start telling this person what it is, they get offended and they get mad and they start talking over him and they start saying all this weird stuff, start making gestures. I want to be on your show. Like, what does that got to do with anything? This guy is so bad. Why would you ever want to go on the show? Because they don't have nothing else to say. It's like, oh, shoot, let me just say something outside of my neck. There's another clip. Let's play clip 2. Roll it.
Hi.
Hello.
What does transgenderism in public look like to you?
It's allowing men to be treated for the purposes of the law as women. It's men taking 900 sports trophies from women in recent years.
And they didn't take 900.
They took 900. There's a report just came out from the United Nations, actually. 890 trophies and medals across 600 women who were competitors, across 29 different sports and 400 competitions. That came out like yesterday.
And they deserved them.
It didn't happen, and they deserve them. Okay, that is the logic I hear from the pro-trans crowd. Yeah.
Thank you. They do deserve them.
I'm sitting here in front of you as a trans woman
Yeah.
who is telling you that every issue I've had before, mental health problem before I started my hormones, is gone.
And I'm telling you, statistically, it's going to come back.
You're wrong. Like you can't predict the future.
The science.
Like I don't know.
I'm not predicting the future, and maybe you'll be one of the lucky few. I guess my point is this. If you look at not just one anecdote, but and actually your anecdote actually fits into the scientific literature.
It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't. I've been a trans person since I was a child. I've experienced the gender dysphoria my entire life. And the second I got on my hormones, everything started improving.
You started doing it a year ago.
About a year ago. I've also been socially out as a gender ambiguous person since I was 22.
Sure.
You don't know anything about my medical history.
I'm not claiming to know anything about your medical history.
You're trying to claim that you know about my medical history.
I
You're
certainly
also
have
trying
not.
to
When have I
say
done that?
That in the future, I'm not going to be okay.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying statistically, you probably won't. I'm saying that the largest data set.
How many trans women do you know? Trans people, I'd love to know.
Apparently not enough.
Clearly not enough, babe.
What I'm telling you, and I know you're talking over me because you don't want to hear this, but what I'm telling you is the largest data set, the largest study ever conducted to follow the long-term outcomes of transgender identifying people, found that not only did their suicide rates and depression not improve, their anxiety actually went up. And so what I'm telling you is, if you're feeling a kind of euphoria that pretending that you were the opposite sex has made you feel better.
Pretending I'm the opposted sex.
Yes, you are pretending.
Lovely.
And I don't think that it's respectful to lie to people.
I'm pretending pretty good, don't you guys think? Yeah?
You're not pretending pretty good. You're not.
I think everybody else here.
I think you might be really angry with me for telling you the truth.
I feel like I'm remaining quite.
You're remaining relatively calm, but I think you're
angry.
I think you're probably not thrilled that I'm telling you that you're not really.
I don't care.
Do you not? You're sitting here talking to me. It seems like you care a lot.
I'm here to give context to a conversation that you clearly know nothing about. You don't know any trans. Do you know personally any trans people? You never really.
I know a number of people who identify as trans.
And so they're not.
I know some who have gone back the other way because it was ruining their lives.
I'd love to hear.
Yeah, you'd love to hear about the people who regretted it.
I'd love to hear who they are.
Oh, I don't know. I was just with a couple of them the other night
at
a
what are their
political
names?
party. Well, Chloe Cole would be probably the most famous example.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen her
doing?
work. She's doing much better now. I've interviewed a number of people who have detransitioned on this show. The only reason I'm mentioning the detransitioners is you might think that it's really nice to affirm you in your delusion that you're the opposite sex.
It's not nice. It's I have to do it. If I didn't start my gender hormone therapy, anything like that, I wouldn't be here right now having this conversation with you. Because of gender dysphoria.
Y'all know I got to interject so they don't copyright. And Jubilee probably is the main one that'll try to copyright me. But I often wonder, man, the disingenuous nature of certain people that have an agenda is so strong that you can never really believe that what they're saying is genuinely true. I think people have a fetish. I think people are confused, but they also find attention in transitioning. Like, I think this person was a fat, ugly, sloppy man that wasn't getting, and this is my opinion, that wasn't getting any real attention as a man. You know, maybe ain't got it what it take sexually or nothing. You know what I'm saying? ain't really got it, ain't getting no women, and therefore the confusion kick in. Maybe been abused, all that. The confusion slightly kick in. But a person sees that, well, if I reinvent myself, like people who change their names, people who change their hair color, people who put on makeup, get plastic surgery, if I reinvent myself, I think I can overcome all the things that are plaguing me as my current self. I don't know if a person is really thinking I should be a woman or a man. I think a person is saying, I want to reinvent myself with something else. And in our day and age, if you reinvent yourself as a trans person, you get more attention. You get months, pride months. People feel sorry for you. They give you a pass. They let you do, like they let you get on jobs. They have to. They got to treat you special. And you could probably get a little more play like that than as a straight man that ain't got nothing going for him. And I think that that's what a lot of this is. But I don't know. But at the same time, I don't know. I want to believe these people and believing that what they're saying is congruent with truth and reality. But at the end of the day, you hear these same people say Donald Trump is a racist with a straight face. These people say racism in America is plaguing black people. We don't have the same opportunities. I mean, he said it with a straight face, and they're completely making up a whole thing. It don't even exist in reality. Donald Trump, FAA, caused a plane to crash. I mean, you guys didn't look at no stats. You have no idea what you're talking about. This happened in Canada, Canadian airspace, Canadian air traffic control. What are y'all saying? But with their whole chest, they're spewing lies and deception. And I feel like these people, many of them may be on the spectrum. Many of them may have narcissistic personalities. And then they use this as an outlet to express themselves, to reinvent who they want to get attention, not who is getting attention currently as their original self. Roll the clip.
Because what you would have.
I just think that there are a lot of avenues that could have happened if I didn't start my hormone. I just don't think that the broadness that you're bringing to the table right now is useful.
I'm bringing scientific specificity and
also,
logical
you told
precision.
Me you've met a detransition person, but I'm asking if you know a transgender woman.
I know people who identify as transgender.
And how are they doing?
Not well.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And statistically, it's a good line. That was off camera, but they said because they know me. Statistically, 32 to 50% of people who identify as trans will kill themselves. And that's really bad. And I think that if there's anything we can do to improve that number.
But do we know about their access that they have to hormone therapy? Do we know about any access to medical care?
Yeah, it doesn't,
what is it?
It doesn't improve. That's what I was trying to tell you about the study.
I'm waiting.
The suicide rates don't improve after they access all of that supposed
Where
care.
did you get that from? I'm very interested.
From the American Journal of Psychiatry.
You don't want to debate with Michael Knowles unless you agree with him. That's what it wouldn't be a debate if you agree, but I'm saying you wouldn't want to debate with him unless you're pretty solid on your stuff. And if you disagree with him, you better be right, man, because he's one of those people that can recall stuff in his brain better than just about anybody. So anyway, I thought he did really good. Y'all comment in the comment section. Let me know if you thought he did a really good job. I think I got one more clip. For you guys. Michael Franzine, or what is this? What's his name? Franzese. Okay. Let's play the clip. I'm not familiar with this one, but y'all might find it to be interesting. Oh yeah, I know. I saw this clip where he's kind of going off on Bill Maher about the J6ers and them getting their censuses commuted and stuff like that. So, roll the clip.
Kash Patel just testified in front of the confirmation hearing. Yeah, he said even this right-wing QAnon nut, even he says he's against Trump pardoning the J6 rioters. Yeah. He said that. He did say you know that? Because some of them beat up the cops. I understand that. Right. Okay, but did you hear what else he said? That days before this protest, Trump went to he was in the Department of Defense at that point, and he went to Kash Patel and he said, we're going to need the National Guard there that day. We want to make sure the area is secure. They prepared and got the National Guard ready to be there. Kash Patel himself called Nancy Pelosi, called Chuck Schumer and called the mayor of Washington, D.C., and they all refused the National Guard. Why? Yeah. No, that could be true. If the president wants them there, because he knew maybe this will get a little out of hand, why did they refuse it? I'm going to tell you what my theory is, and you can say you're crazy. I'd have to look at those facts again, but I have heard that before from reputable sources. Testified. But he took it to a different level. So yes, I don't think it was all just lawfare.
Bill, these crimes that they allege, these are all nonsense.
They're not all nonsense. I just listed why they weren't.
No, let me. No,
you don't care. You just like him. I like who you like.
I don't like
listen
him.
to the logic about it or the facts. You just like him. It's okay.
I'll give
You're
you
entitled.
Let me give you logic.
Man.
Let me give you logic and facts, okay?
Yeah,
I told you I had 3 racketeering indictments. 3. Okay? I know the statute inside out and upside down.
We're back to you now.
No. I'm coming to a point. I will tell you this. The information and the evidence that was uncovered by the GOP investigation on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and his family, there was more evidence than there was in any one of my racketeering indictments. Joe Biden is treasonous.
Yeah,
Listen to me.
I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, he's treasonous.
He's not treasonous.
Yes, he is. He sold out his vice presidency. That's treason for money.
You just don't like him, so that's treason.
Bill,
but your guy.
Bill, no. Let me tell you. You know why I don't like him? I don't like him because he's a liar. No, let me finish my point.
I didn't say anything.
He's a liar. He was never competent to be president. He lied he lied about everything. The guy lied about.
I'm not a huge fan.
He lied about the laptop. He lied about everything. He had 51. Him and his cohorts there got 51 intelligence agents to lie about the laptop after they knew that the FBI had authenticated it. Absolute liar. Okay. As far as that, let me tell you this.
Not a huge fan.
He had 18 shell companies that did nothing. There was no brick and mortar behind him. There was no employees. All they did was collect money. How do I know about that? I had 21 shell companies when I was defrauding the government out of tax on every gallon of gas. I know the whole system. He sold out his vice presidency. He sold it out. He's treasonous. And he lies. The guy lies. He don't even know how to tell the truth. And he destroyed the country.
Treasonous. If we were at war and he was selling secrets to them, we weren't.
Well, how do we know what he did for the money? Bill, how do we know
I know what he did for the money. He got his ne'er-do-well crackhead son a job in an energy company when he knew nothing about energy.
Is that okay?
It's not okay, but you have no perspective on what is the bigger crime. You just like the guy you like.
No,
so
I don't.
everything he does, you see through rose-colored glasses.
Bill, you're wrong.
And this other guy,
you're wrong.
It's okay. It's what most of the country is like.
I would tell you.
Just don't ask me to respect it as critical thinking.
I like Donald Trump for the policies that he put into this country, and I think during his time as a president, I didn't know him before that. I met him one time. 30 years ago with Roy Cohn. For 5 minutes, he probably wouldn't have even remembered me. We had a little meeting. I had to meet with Roy Cohn. He happened to be there. That was it. I don't know him. I have nothing to do with him. Let me tell you something. I'm not know of anybody. I just like the job he did as president.
So that was a pretty good clip. I think the guy did a really good job at articulating the double standard and corruption with the Democrats. And Bill Maher is funny because he's like a baby. You know, he gets upset in an argument and he started kind of throwing a little tantrum. But at the end of the day, it is very clear they did some nefarious things in J6. If Donald Trump, in fact, ordered the National Guard and they denied it, they should be held culpable for that. They should be held vicariously responsible for what happened, as well as them holding him accountable. They say that he had some responsibility. The others should have been held responsible as well and scrutinized, but they weren't, and we know they weren't. All right, let's get to the super chats, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all watching the show. If you want to stick around for the super chat, just know that Synergy Life, my supplement, is up. It's ready for pre-order. So if you go to synergylife.com, you don't have to pull it up. You go to synergylife.com, you can pre-order the day and the night drink. The day drink is for energy, very low in caffeine. We got about 75 milligrams of caffeine. I did not want to overdo caffeine because I want you to get more of brain function and recall and energy naturally than to be reliant heavily on caffeine. You get addicted to caffeine. Large amounts of caffeine consumption could cause you to have sleep apnea. you go down a list, that's what could be, an occurrence. So we didn't want that. Also, we have a night drink, which nobody is doing. I'm glad they didn't do it because they give us a space to do it. But we have a day and a night drink so you can have complete energy. The night drink, we do not overly do melatonin. One of the smallest ingredients that's in the night drink is melatonin. The largest ingredient in the night drink is magnesium. Magnesium helps the body produce melatonin naturally. And that's what you really want to do. The only reason we put melatonin in it to get you right over the edge so you can go to sleep. Try to get you to calm down and go to sleep with the magnesium and other ashwagandha and other ingredients that we put in there to help you get a good night's sleep, to get a thorough night's sleep, get deep REM sleep, wake up with energy. That's the key. Somebody may try to steal the idea of the concept. I don't know why they didn't put the effort and energy before to do it. But in order to have true energy, you have to sleep. You can't just have terrible sleep and then throw some medicine on top of it. You know what I mean? You can't have terrible sleep and then throw a bunch of caffeine at it. Because what happens is residually the caffeine will cause you to have poor sleep again. Then you sleeping like crazy and relying on caffeine, and you drink 2 energy drinks of some of these leading brands, you're getting 400 milligrams of caffeine. You drink 3 or 4. We had a guy here, he don't work here anymore, but he told me he drank like 8 of them in one day. That's over 1,000. That's over 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. That's a heart attack waiting to happen. So anyway, go and pre-order it. It should be available early next month. T-Force is sold out, but you can put your name on the list. Notify me made available. Get you some merch from Tatum store. We got some of this merch. We got the Doge shirts, which are my favorite. I just happen to not wear one today. Let me get to the super chats. All right. Let's see. Joe, been a member for a month. We've had nearly missed 3 times we've had near misses 3 times a week for over a year. Now the failures of the FAA matter. I'm glad that Trump being elected brought the news back. 100%. Thanks so much for the super chat and for being a member. Let's go down. Let's see if I can get my thing up to speed. BNC word or wrenches hens of the View, laugh out loud. Let's see. Different kind of Me Too, money, movement. I appreciate super chat. Let's see. MJ like women. Stephanie Mills. You too young to remember. I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely too young to remember what MJ was doing. All I knew is we used to listen to them little songs, and then he had them little boys in the bed. Now, I don't know if he did nothing with them. I don't think he did, because he just seemed like a big kid. But at the end, it seemed like he was into something else. My only issue with Elon is that he keeps making babies with multiple women, which is not healthy for all of his children's well-being. Children need fathers, not a S donor. 100%. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole about this again, but, people on both sides have their take on this. Women think, in my opinion, some women, I don't even think it's most women, but some women think that if I can only have the status and the money and have a kid by this guy, I can do good all by myself. I don't need him. I just need the money. I just need the status. I just want to ride in a Rolls Royce. I don't even need a ring. I just want to live in a $40,000 a month apartment with my kid, knowing that I had a kid with this guy with a lot of fame. That's ignorance and stupidity. And then also for men, I think men fall into these similar traps, in the same form of way as women do. I'm gonna go out because I got money and have kids because I can give money to take care of the kids. The kids don't want your money. Kids don't understand money when they're young. They understand love. They understand connection. And if they never see their father, it's like not having a father. When my kid is 5, he don't know that I'm putting his mama in a penthouse and that she got all the money she needs to take care of him. A 5-year-old don't compartmentalize that. I think a 15-year-old don't understand that. It's not valuable to them. So you being there is more valuable than money. I know a lot of people, their love language is gifts, but although people may like gifts, they rather see you than get a gift. They rather for you be in a life than to be a billionaire. You know, what benefit is your dad being a billionaire if it's just money? Once you have so much money, money don't mean much to you. When you broke and you got a little money, that'll mean something to you. But when you rich and nothing is off limits, it's not the same. Somebody said send all trans to Palestine. No, I agree. Or deport trans to Mexico. They're nice to trans. Probably not. Let's see. Breaking news, there is only 2 genders in reality. I love that. Let's see. Zach, thanks so much for the super chat. Have you thought about making it where we can pre-order your merch since some stuff is sold out? That's not a bad idea. It can get convoluted. Let's see. Don, thanks so much for the super chat. Mike Frenzies, the GOAT from my former mob boss. Yeah, I think I've seen him around, on the social media and, interviews and stuff. But yeah, it get complicated if we pre-order our stuff, because what happens is if you pre-order an item and you have an item that's in stock, you got to wait for the pre-order item to print to get both of your items at the same time. There is a setting on my store to, if we pre-order, it'll warn you and say you need to make 2 separate purchases if you don't want your purchase to be delayed. It's kind of a good idea because therefore we don't lose any sales. If you guys are interested, you can get it on the list immediately. Therefore, you'll get the product. But it's kind of a logistical nightmare to do it like that, simply because some stuff we may not bring back, or it may take longer than what people expect, and so that's not a bad idea. We just got to think through the logistics. All right, God bless you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.